Hello and welcome to another video on the wonderful FA-06. This evening we're looking at the studio set, so let's get right into it. Song consists of not only a sequence, but also you may have audio clips under the pads, as well as the various tones and sound parameters for the studio set. So you have to save everything. You have to save the pads, you have to save the song, you have to save the studio set. If you make any changes to a studio set, it is not automatically saved. You have to deliberately and explicitly save the studio set in one of the user memories. The studio set common, which you can find here by pressing the menu button, and as you see it says down here studio set common. So we select that, and you can scroll through tabs that you have, and these are similar to what you would have seen in the system menu, but you have the option to change them and save them with every single studio set if you require. The mixer, which we can quickly take a look at, go system and come down here to the mixer, contains several of the settings for each part. What does the mixer contain? It contains the level, it contains the pan setting, it contains reverb and chorus settings for each part, and it also has the switches, solo and mute, which are normally associated with studio recording. You may want to solo a track, or you may want to mute one or more tracks. So that information is saved with the studio set. But in order to understand what other information is saved with each track or each channel, you will have to go to the part view. So we come up here to the part view, we select the part view, and now we have a whole heap of other tabs which we're going to run through very quickly. Of course, here you will see that we have the level pan tab. Now this information is shared with the mixer. So if you change the level of any track inside here, it will also change in the mixer. Or if you prefer to change it in the mixer view, it will be reflected in here. The keyboard, we have not only the keyboard switch, which shows which parts are being currently played by the keyboard, but we also have the upper and lower keyboard ranges for each part. Now we showed you already with the other screen how to change that, so please watch the video on the split, multi-way splits across the parts. But if you change it on that screen, the changes will be reflected here as well. So basically this is another way to change the same data. Basically the range of keys associated with each part. That all our parts are assigned to the main output, but you have the option of assigning several parts to the sub output if you want to have a different mix. Equalizer, you can set the center frequency of each of the low, mid and high, so you can basically tailor your tone controls. Well, notice that the bendo and portamento are all set to tone. What does that mean? That means that whatever is set up for that particular tone will be reflected. So this is a way to either force that part to have a setting that applies to all tones, or have it change individually with the tone. It's entirely up to you. You can have, but why would we want part settings? Because we want part settings because as we change from tone to tone, we may want to either control it globally for the tones, all the tones for that part, or maybe we may want each tone to have its own setting. So the settings are repeated within the tone itself and also here within the part. So if you change it within the part and say that it must affect all tones, no matter what tone you load, it will take the settings from the part. But if you set the setting to tone, as is set here for all of them, then the tone will have freedom to select the portamento as well as the bender. How much the bender shifts the frequency, one semitone, two semitones, or whatever. And fine pitch controls. So you can even force a part to go up 2 octaves, and every time you load any tone into that part, it will be 2 octaves higher. Set to equal tempered for all. Once you have there, everything is set to naught. But this is all saved. So if you change any of these for some specific sound that you want to make, or some specific song that you're doing that uses Indian or Chinese music where you're not working with a Western scale, you can set it up in here and save it in your studio set. Midi Rx Filter. This Midi Rx Filter here allows you to actually change or remove various categories of MIDI messages for every single one of the 16 parts. Okay? Program change messages is the first one here. And of course, when you come to one of those by the same mechanism of using the thing, and you start to change it, you see what you can turn it on or off. If it's off, it's dark. If it's on, it's pretty pink. So you can set your matrix to suit yourself. Off is dark. It's just an off and on switch. But that shows you at a glance what MIDI signals are triggering in the various parts. Normally you would leave it all on unless you have a reason to turn it off. The master keyboard section here, 1 and 2, is to allow you to select what specific information that part transmits on MIDI in case you're using this Roland as a master keyboard to control other modules. Now you see here where it says on, they're all set to on right now, which means that you don't have to care about what's in this matrix. On means that it transmits everything that it receives. If you come down here to one of these ons, you will see that the options are off and master keyboard. Now notice when I put MKB master keyboard, this has turned red. So I can now go here and individually turn them off and on. And in many cases set the level I want as well. Look. It goes all the way up to 126, 0 to 126, okay? So some of them are simply off and on, and some of them are actual levels. Depending on what MIDI data it is. You read at the top, volume, MSB, LSB of a program change, and then you come to 2. So the first thing you do if you want to use these is turn it to MKB. In all other instances, they're grayed out and can't be set. Go to your right menu, and look, it comes on studio set. So when you say write the studio set, select, you have to select a user memory, and what's on top is whatever you have in the keyboard. Notice this yellow thing means that what you have in the keyboard is no longer FA preview, but you have modified it. Anytime you see a yellow tick like that, that means you have modified the setting. So if you save this to the user memory, it's going to be called by that name. So you have to press rename, which allows you to rename it from A preview to your new name that you want to give it. And then you can select one of your user memories to put it in. Now I've set up all sorts of things in my user memories. I have hymn practice. I have strings. That's to be used with specific string sounds, 4-channel strings, 3 strings, several piano and organs. I've been making good use of my FA-06 and saving my studio sets. And you can too. You see init studio. When you see init studio, that's an empty memory and you can put it in an empty memory slot. This is a fantastic keyboard, and the more you learn it, the more you will love it. And I've talked a lot tonight, and I'm not going to play anything in this video, but we will do some more videos for you where we will demonstrate individual features. This is just an overview of all the possibilities within your studio set. Experiment and play for yourself, because you learn by doing. Feel free to interact with me and ask any questions in the comments, and I will help you with specific areas or make additional videos to explain in more detail anything you've seen in this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon again in the next video.